Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this broadcast here. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live, or well, not live, unfortunately, but I am broadcasting this game here at the campus of Weymouth High School in Weymouth, Massachusetts. I'm here to bring you coverage of this 2024 MIAA Division I Girls Soccer State Tournament Final Four contest. Today's contest pits the second-seeded Raiders of Wellesley High School against the third-seeded Brookline High Warriors with a trip to the state finals on the line. And folks, I am not alone in this broadcast tonight. I am joined once again by Brookline High freshman and student broadcaster extraordinaire Sam Lowenstein. Sam, thank you for joining me once again today.
Thanks so much for having me on again here for the state semifinals, my first ever neutral site game against a really dominant Wellesley team. Wellesley only 3 losses this year. 2 of them were to #1 ranked Natick, who's just had an unbelievable year. So it's going to be a really tough test against Brookline. But if they can take down Wellesley, I think they got a real shot to win the state championship this year.
And like you said, Wellesley, a strong record of 14 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw in the regular season, as you mentioned, Sam. 2 of those 3 losses were against defending state champion and #1 seed in the tournament, Natick, who will be playing against 4th-seeded Mayfield-Sheehan High School later tonight after this game here at this same site to decide who will also be going to the state finals. And interestingly enough, a fun fact, Wellesley's head coach this year, Dave Wainwright, it's his first year with Wellesley after last year he led that Natick High girls soccer team to their state championship. And of course, that state championship run included a Final Four victory against then 5th-seeded Brookline. And so this is Coach Wainwright's second year in a row facing Brookline in the Final Four. And he'll be hoping for a different result, as will Wellesley, as they'll be trying to get some payback against Brookline, as the 5th-seeded Warriors got an upset win over the then 4th-seeded Raiders in last year's Elite Eight, with, of course, Sydney Freeze being the big hero, getting the overtime game winner as Brookline took that one 2-1. But this year, it's been all Wellesley in terms of the head-to-head matchups between these two. The Raiders won in Wellesley on September 10th, 3-1, and then they shut out Brookline in Brookline on October 17, 2-0. So while Wellesley's looking for payback from last year's Elite Eight, Brookline looking for some payback from the regular season. And this should make for quite the matchup. So for now, let's take a look at the rosters coming into today. Then we'll run our intro video and we'll get this one started. But let's go through the rosters, starting over here on our right with the second-seeded Wellesley High Raiders. Going in order of jersey number for Wellesley, first off we have a junior goalie, #1, Cameron Walsh. Next, a senior, #2, Lucy Thornton. A junior, #4, Emily Burnham. A senior captain, #5, Annie Comella. A senior captain, #6, Avery Moore. A junior, #7, Ellery Gearhart. A senior, #8, Avery Thornton. A sophomore, #9, Layla Etcher. A freshman, #10, Grace Sullivan. A senior captain, #14, Tarin Rayor. A sophomore, #15, Kinsley Stevens. A senior, #16, Delaney Dyer. A sophomore, #17, Caroline Keys. A sophomore, #18, Sabrina Gabriel. A senior captain, #19, Peyton Keys. A freshman, #20, Kate Comella. A senior, #21, Ava O'Grady. A sophomore, #26, Hannah Thornton. And a sophomore goalie, #30, Bryn Francis Cheney. Head coach of the Wellesley High girls soccer team is Dave Wainwright. Looks like we've got a bit of an issue with our camera here. I don't know what on earth has happened here. I'm going to close out for a second, and then I'm going to try and pull this one back up. 1 second, folks. Okay, there we go. That seems to have fixed it. Hopefully, so we'll have a bit of a freeze frame on that one for a few seconds when we upload this recording. That's all right. One of the nice things about this not being live is, no need to panic with something like that as long as it doesn't happen during the game. I'm perfectly happy with that happening here. But as we've just gone through the roster for Wellesley, let's go through the roster for the third-seeded Brookline High Warriors. Going in order of jersey number for Brookline, first off we have a sophomore, number 1, Hannah Greer. A junior with 1 career goal and 4 career assists, number 3, Elin Lindgren Palm. A senior, number 4, Ashley Sherwin. A freshman, number 5, Nev Kesselman. A sophomore with 2 career goals, number 6, Paige Hammond. A junior with 1 goal and 3 assists on her career, number 7, Amalia Lindgren Palm. A sophomore with 1 goal and 3 assists, number 8, Juliana Siegel. A senior captain with 20 career goals and 7 career assists, number 9, McKenna Hammond. A senior with 3 assists, number 11, Nora Shue. A sophomore, number 12, Jamie McGee. A junior with 2 goals and 4 assists, number 13, Julia Vianello. A senior with 1 assist, number 15, Babette Hall. A sophomore with 5 assists, number 16, Haley Ament. A senior with 2 assists, number 17, Greta Radke. A senior captain with 33 goals and 18 assists, number 18, Anna Leshley. A junior with 4 goals and 2 assists, number 19, Jada Kimbrough. A junior, number 20, Priscilla Hill. A junior with 4 goals and 2 assists, number 21, Lila Cannon. A junior, number 22, Eva Berkson. A senior captain with 17 goals and 11 assists, number 23, Vilena Chernychev. A senior captain with 24 goals and 15 assists, number 26, Sydney Freeze. A junior with 4 goals and 6 assists, number 29, Mirabelle Kesselman. And then Brookline's 4 goalies on their playoff roster, a sophomore, number 37, Chloe Price. A senior, number 38, Julia Cherwin. A sophomore, number 0, Liv Clawater. And a freshman, number 00, Sadie Sawada. Head coach of the Brookline High girls soccer team is Ben Peters. So those are our 2 rosters coming in to this Final Four contest. Brookline against Wellesley out here at Weymouth High School in the Division I Final Four. Alongside Sam Lowenstein, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and you are watching Brookline High Soccer. Kimbrough sending one forward for Vianello. Vianello charging in. Vianello scores! Can she send Brookline to the round of 8? She did it! Vilena Chernichev! Okay, the scoreboard clock shows less than a minute before we get this one underway here in the Final Four between Brookline and Wellesley. And Sam, we've been loving your bold predictions through this playoff run. What have you got for us tonight?
Well, I think this is going to be the toughest test by far of the playoffs that Brookline has faced. They had a tough time versus a really skilled Braintree side that seemed like they had their number. Braintree, who got the win against Brookline in the regular season, that seemed like their toughest test so far. But this game, it's going to be really tough. I think it's going to go either way. But if Brookline can win this game, I believe that they will win the state championship.
Ooh, okay. We got a bold prediction with a bit of a condition attached to it, but I like it. I like the energy.
I think, Jesse, this matchup, if it's going to be really tough for Brookline. Wellesley, who've beaten them twice this season, but if Brookline can get over a team that's higher ranked than them and has had their number, I think they can do anything.
Looking at the playoff paths for these two teams so far, Wellesley got here off of a win against number 31 Plymouth North in the round of 32, winning that one 6-2. Then they defeated number 15 Lincoln Sudbury in the round of 16, 2-1. Then beat number 10 Newton North 3-0 in the round of 8. For Brookline, they've similarly had some up and down results in terms of the margin of victory, but it's been all victories for them as well. A 10-1 win over 35th seeded Brockton in the round of 32. Then, as you mentioned before, Sam, a close shootout victory over 14th seeded Braintree in the round of 16. Then a more comfortable 2-0 victory over 6th seeded King Philip in the round of 8. So both of these teams had an easier time in the round of 8 than they had in the round of 16, with both of them winning by slim margins in the round of 16. So both teams seem to be finding their rhythm, and we'll see how this one goes as the teams are getting ready to take the field. This is a neutral site, so I imagine we're going to have some PA announcements taking over momentarily to introduce starting lineups, national anthem, all that good stuff. And once that gets started, we'll be quiet for, a few minutes while they get the pregame stuff going. And then, of course, once the pregame stuff's done, we will get started with the game itself.
And a huge game coming up in Brookline, even though it appears they won pretty comfortably, Jesse, 2-0. Remember, that game was very tight on defense. The likes of Babette Hall, she made a bunch of crucial plays on defense. Wasn't the only one, but the score looked easier than it was a very back and forth game between Brookline and King Philip.
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the tough thing about soccer is it can be a game of inches, where it's like even when you get the shutout, you're just inches away on a number of different plays from, giving up something.
And in that game, King Philip also had a bunch of shots that went off the post, you remember?
They did have a couple of those. It was a super tight game.
And Brookline definitely needs to make sure they shore up on defense.
All right, well, it sounds like the PA announcer's taking over, so we're going to, go quiet for this and just let them go.
We thank you for your service to our country. Introducing, for Brookline High School, Hannah Griev, Ashley Sherwin, Ned Kesselman, Amelia Lindgren Kahn, Juliana Siegel, Nora Shue, Haley Ament, Brenna Ratek, Jada Kimbrough, Priscilla Hill, Lila Cannon, Eva Bergstrom, Liz Claywitter, Sadie Savada, Chloe Price. And now the starting lineup for your Brookline High School girls soccer. Elin Lindgren Palm, number 3. Paige Hammond, number 6. Captain McKenna Hammond, number 9. Jamison McGee, number 12. Julia Vianello, number 13. Maribel Kesselman, number 14. Babette Hall, 15. Captain Anna Wellesley, number 18. Captain Belina Sherry-Shep, number 23. Captain Sydney Freese, 26. And Julia Truman, number 38. And now the roster for your Wellesley Raiders. Number 1, Beth Walsh. Number 8, Avery Thornton. Number 9, Lily Becker. Number 16, Delaney Dyer. Number 18, Sabrina Gabrielle. Number 20, Kate Camilla. Number 26, Hannah Thornton. Number 30, Bryn Franceschini. Number 32, Grace Collard. Number 37, Emelina Gander. Number 42, Lily Andrews. Number 45, Kadion Hassaninian. Number 46, Madison Daddario. Number 51, Grace Justice. And number 57, Helen Baronano. And now the starting lineup for the Wellesley Raiders. Number 2, Lucy Thornton. Number 4, Emily Burnham. Number 5, Captain Annie Camilla. Number 6, Captain Avery Moore. Number 7, Hillary Gerhardt. Number 10, Grace Sullivan. Number 15, Kinsley Stevens. Number 17, Caroline Pease. Number 19, Captain Peyton Pease. Number 21, Ava O'Grady. Number 43. Would you please rise to remove your hats, caps, and headwear as we honor this great nation and those who serve us with the singing of a national anthem.
All right, those were our starting lineups, national anthem, all that good stuff, and we'll soon be getting this ball game started. Unless I'm mistaken, Sam, I think I saw that for Wellesley, starting in net today is actually going to be number 17, Caroline Keys. It looked like she was the one who was running there when they called out her name, but wearing number 1, the goalie jersey, which is normally worn by Cameron Walsh. So there might have been some changes from the roster they had out at the start of the season, but you know, we'll follow things as we go.
Well, you never know, Jesse, and lots of players being able to play in the field and at goalie. Caroline Keys, possibly a utility player, and if so, a huge part of this Wellesley team if she's able to show up in a huge moment like this.
Yeah, I know. Normally, if we'd be going live, I'd be like, hey, any fans, if you know or something, let us know in the live chat. Unfortunately, we're not able to go live today, but we are able to record this and then upload it a couple of days after the fact, so that should still be nice as we get ready to get this one underway. A fresh 40 minutes on the clock for the first half. Brookline will be playing from our left in the first half in their white jerseys with their blue outline jersey numbers. Wellesley from our right, black jerseys, white jersey numbers, and red outlines. As teams get ready to get started, looks like Wellesley will get the ball first.
And a ton of excitement coming from the Wellesley side as we look to get started.
Indeed. And here we go. We are underway here in the Final Four. Wellesley kicks the ball upfield. It's booted up in the air by Mirabelle Kesselman. Goes off ahead towards the near side. It's going to be chased down by Julia Vianello. Kicks it upfield, gets to McKenna Hammond. Hammond taps it, gets the favorable deflection as that went off number 6, Avery Moore. Throw in for Brookline. Vianello throws it quick. Back foot tap from Anna Leshley over to Sydney Freeze. Freeze dribbling back. Opts to pass it back to the back line to number 12, Jamie McGee. McGee swings it up the far side there. Pass given to Vilena Chernychev. Chernychev pass forward for Leshley. A bit of traffic there. Knocked out of bounds. They say last touched by Brookline, and it's going to be Wellesley ball.
Well, Brookline playing a back three. They have Vianello running on the right side, and then McKenna Hammond and Sydney Freeze up front.
This one is kicked upfield by Wellesley. It's going to be chased down by Babette Hall, and Hall's just going to send it up the line. Elin Lindgren-Palm was trying to move it, but lost out of bounds, stays Wellesley ball. Quick throw in as it's here in the dark. It's going to be a bit tough for me to read some of the jersey numbers on the far side, but they do send it to the back line. They swing it across to Moore. Moore sends it upfield, finds her target. That is, I believe, number 19. Yeah, 19 sends it up to 5. 5 sends it up to number 4. Cutting around, Kesselman tries to force a pass through, but into traffic, and Brookline corrals it and clears it out. Number 4, Emily Burnham, was trying to advance that one off a nice pass from number 5, Annie Comella. Now at the ball is number 7, Ellery Gearhart. Couple quick passes, winds up back with Comella. Sends one across, couldn't be headed in by Burnham. She whiffed on that one. Sliced up in the air by Lindgren-Palm, headed forward by Chernychev. Corralled by number 19, Peyton Keys, as it now rolls out of bounds on the far side. Wellesley ball, quick throw in, booted back into the box, but it's going to be taken off the hop by the Brookline keeper, Julia Cherwin.
Wellesley have had most of their success working through, weaving their way around the left side, and then trying to get across into the box.
Now Brookline with the possession as Cherwin takes it again, boots it up the far side, tapped along by Lindgren-Palm. Freeze tried to tap it, got stopped. No handball as it's moved forward by Wellesley. Pass goes back. Now to the outside to Moore. Moore going up the line for Burnham. Burnham from the corner, dribbling out, fires a shot, goes off the body, and it's in! An early score from Emily Burnham, and a bit of friendly fire there as it was blocked by the body of the defender, and Sherwin was thrown off on the direction she was tracking that ball.
Well, Emily Burnham, she's been dangerous in these first couple minutes, getting down the left side in open pockets of space, and an unlucky break for the Warriors to start.
Just the 3rd minute of action, and Wellesley is the first on the board with a 1-0 lead off a bit of a defensive mistake by Brookline. This ball chased down by Sydney Freeze, tries to pass, no room there, cleared away. Recovered by Chernychev. Touches it out to Lindgren Palm, up the line, looking for Freeze again. Freeze has the ball in the corner. Cuts around a defender, charging in, pass, again, too much traffic, it deflects back out. Chernychev charges in, fires a long shot! Oh, just wide!
Nearly an incredible goal from Velena Chernychev.
Things happening fast out here in Weymouth.
And Brookline nearly equalizing. Chernychev just trying to nestle it into that top right corner, and she almost made the ball curl its way back. Would have been an insane start to this game.
Yeah, 1 goal each inside the first 5 minutes would have been absolutely crazy, but the score remains 1-0 in Wellesley's favor. Brookline took it back off the out of bounds. Wellesley trying to disrupt, but Hall kicks it forward, tapped along by Lindgren Palm. Hammond sends it back to Leshley. Leshley dribbling around, trying to escape traffic, gets the ball forward, but it's intercepted there by the Raiders by, I believe, number 10, Grace Sullivan. Kicked forward by the Raiders. Corralled now by Gearhart, sends it forward to Burnham. Burnham with the game's lone goal so far. Pass to the middle. Now they try and work it up to number 13, cut off there by Lindgren Palm, but it's knocked back, recovered now by Freeze. Goes near side, Vianello. Vianello kicks it upfield, deflected right back by Sullivan. Now trying to kick it, Peyton Keys sends it upfield. Hall is back there, kicks it forward. Leshley taps it, kicked back by Peyton Keys. Couple quick passes, goes back to Taran Rayor, number 14, gives it back to Peyton Keys. Forward now to Camella. Camella tries a shot blocked by Kesselman, and that's going to roll out of bounds, throw in for Wellesley.
Well, it seems like Brookline's still playing back in a zone defense on the left wing. And it's allowed the Wellesley attackers to really run free range around that area.
Moore throws it in for Burnham. Burnham sends in a crosser bouncing along. A Raider did get her foot on it, but it is ultimately cleared out by the Warriors. Freeze kicks it out to the far side. Lindgren Palm sending it forward. Sullivan going back to chase after it and does corral it to keep away from McKenna Hammond. Clears it all the way back to the Brookline back line. Hall boots it back the other way into open space where it's headed forward by Wellesley. Recovered briefly by Paige Hammond, but then ricochets several ways. Now gets out to Vianello. Vianello pass up, a little off the mark. Freeze couldn't corral it, taken away by Sullivan. The freshman's been busy on defense for Wellesley early in this one. Kick from the goalie, recovered by Vianello, gets around one. Pass for Freeze, give and go, looking for Vianello, who's battling with Moore. Vianello couldn't get a crosser off, but it's recovered by Freeze. Freeze trying to turn around. Looking. Jukes back, pushes the ball forward, finds Vianello, but cut off, kicked out of bounds by number 15, Kinsley Stevens.
Wellesley, they've been just bringing double teams to all of Brookline's attackers. Brookline haven't been able to get really any balls in the box, real chances.
This one stolen back by Vianello, taps it back to Leshley. Tight space along the sideline as Leshley trying to turn around, being followed well on defense. Pass intercepted by Wellesley. Peyton Keys' pass goes off the back foot of Comella, but she recovers. Now it goes back to Peyton Keys, up to Burnham. Burnham disrupted, and Vianello takes it away. Pass back Leshley. Quickly gets passed back to Hall, who boots it upfield. headed back by Sullivan. Bounces along. Comella kicks to the outside. Vianello goes out of bounds with it.
Well, Jesse, what Wellesley's been doing, their formation in itself hasn't been overly aggressive. They've just found ways to get on attack.
This one sent up the line, kicked out of bounds by Kesselman. That leading pass intended for Annie Comella.
And Kesselman now playing a little bit up to compensate for the open space.
This one goes back to Moore. Pass, deflects back out. To the middle, they work it, but too much traffic as it's taken away from Rayor. And now Lindgren Palm kicking it upfield. Kicking it back the other way is number 2, Lucy Thornton. Through the midfield, it is passed to the outside to Moore. Moore kicks it up, finds Comella. Comella gives it over to Peyton Keys, back to Moore. Moore forward to Burnham. Burnham tries to slide it, does get it through the deflection to Peyton Keys, back to Sullivan now. Sullivan goes back to Lucy Thornton. Thornton goes out to the far side and does get a pass up, but disrupted by Brookline, and Freeze taps it back to Vianello, who sends it back forward to Freeze. Freeze gives to Vianello, couldn't get around Sullivan. Vianello taps it for Leshley. Leshley tap to Chernychev, now over to an open Lindgren Palm on the far side. Lindgren Palm passes it back to Chernychev. Chernychev swings it over to Paige Hammond. Hammond sends it forward to Freeze. Freeze goes back to Kesselman. Brookline still looking for an opening. They're not seeing one yet as Hall with the ball now. Barely escapes the forward pressure from Comella. Lifts this one forward. Knocked back by the Wellesley defense again. Now a pass to Peyton Keys. Tries to send it forward, and Hall kicks it out of bounds.
And it seems like, Jesse, that Wellesley have been incorporating almost a wall defense, having defenders all over the field. No space allowed for Brookline to cut through.
Throw in here goes to, I think, number 15, Kinsley Stevens. Sends it back to Sullivan. That pass misses Rayor. Tapped forward by Chernychev. Gets to McKenna Hammond, but defense arrives. And the attempt to clear by Lucy Thornton blocked by Leshley, but Sullivan follows it up and clears it out of there. Chasing it down is McGee. McGee sends it forward, looking for Chernychev, who gets it to Lindgren Palm, who sends it back to Hall. Booted up in the air. Knocked down, rolls over to Leshley. Leshley sends it back to Hall. Hall boots it near side to Vianello. Vianello back to Kesselman. Kesselman upfield, headed down by Moore. Vianello tips it forward, gets to Freeze. Pass now for Paige Hammond. Paige Hammond hit hard from behind, and that's going to be a foul against Ellery Gearhart.
And there Wellesley taking advantage, and Gearhart trying to take advantage of Brookline, playing a little bit passively, trying to scout out their options. She just cuts through.
And she blocks that pass there, takes it away, gives to Burnham now. Burnham, pass back, gets to Comella. Comella back to Burnham, swings it across looking for Keys, but intercepted by Vianello. Goes back to Cherwin. Cherwin lifts this one near side, gets to Freeze. Freeze taps back, miscommunicated though. Intercepted, and Freeze knocks that out of bounds.
What you can see is Wellesley, all their midfielders, they're playing right next to each other. Brookline has not been able to get through still whatsoever.
Now it's Freeze with the ball. Pass up looking for Leshley. Leshley taps it forward. Intercepted by Sullivan. Sullivan swings it across to the far side. Now given back to Thornton. Thornton swings it over to number 21, Ava O'Grady, who's checked into the game. O'Grady sends it forward to Keys. Keys up to Comella. Comella running out of room, but draws the favorable deflection out of bounds. Wellesley ball.
And there Wellesley trying to get on the left side where they had that lucky own goal, where they are able to exploit.
Throw in, and it's tapped out of bounds by Kesselman. Quick throw in to Burnham, back to Comella, tapped up. Ricocheting back and forth. Vianello trying to disrupt, but it's recovered by Burnham and passed back to Keys. Keys blocked on the kick by Wellesley, who gets the favorable deflection, Brookline ball.
And Wellesley cutting in there, just trying to light a little bit of a spark of momentum for Brookline.
This one kicked back the other way, deflects to the outside, kicked forward by Keys. And it's collected by Comella. Comella's kick blocked by Kesselman and taken off a couple hops by Sherwin. It is we're in the 13th minute of this ball game. 1-0, the Wellesley lead off the goal by Emily Burnham. Sherwin boots this one up in the air, goes off the head of Stevens, recovered by Freeze. Freeze goes back to Chernychev. Chernychev lifts one forward. Hard collision between Wellesley and Sullivan. They let them play on as Rayor passes this one. Touched over to Gearhart. Gearhart sends it forward. Taken away by Kesselman, who tries to head it forward. Kinsley Stevens tries to kick it back. Recovers it off the deflection. Sends it forward. Kicked away by McGee. Goes up to McKenna Hammond. Hammond blocked by Thornton, but recovered by Lindgren Palm. Her kick blocked out of bounds, Brookline ball.
Brookline playing more of a defensive shape. Paige Hammond shifting back into defensive midfield, playing at the same level as the backs.
This one kicked upfield by Hall. Couple deflections. Brookline controls it, goes back to Chernychev. Chernychev swings it across, disrupted by Burnham before it could get to Vianello and kicked away by O'Grady.
We're not playing at the same level, but still shifting back for Brookline, providing additional support.
Kesselman's kick downed by Burnham. Burnham. Pass back. Stevens fires well wide, but was it deflected? They say no, goal kick.
Well, Stevens just trying her luck there as Brookline bringing all their defenders back, not allowing anything into the box. That was where they struggled in the first couple of minutes. Wellesley were able to work their way down the left side, get opportunities on crosses and balls in. Brookline have been fundamentally sound from there.
Oh, almost not fundamentally sound on that one as Kamel almost took it away. Now it's taken away by Stevens. Pass up, disrupted by Lindgren Palm, cleared away by McGee. Brookline does get control of it. Pass back, McGee. Tries to go up the line, and Lindgren Palm couldn't corral it out of bounds. Wellesley ball. Off the throw-in, deflects back. Stevens tries a shot blocked, I think, by Hall. And kicked out of bounds by, I think, Lindgren Palm.
So Wellesley going pretty quick with these throw-ins. They're going to take a second here.
And now they throw it in from the far side. They try another kick. Pinball ricochet there, ultimately recovered by Brookline. Wellesley with the ball now, swings it over to Vianello. Vianello, kick was deflected a bit, but racing after it, a few players. Freeze corrals it, Freeze cutting around, Freeze charging in, ran out of room, but it's knocked out of bounds by O'Grady, and that will be the game's first corner kick.
Sydney Freeze found herself wide open, and the goalkeeper came...
Wide open's a bit of a stretch.
I don't know about wide open, but the goalkeeper came off her line. Freeze had an opportunity, but as the defender closed out, Freeze lost her angle.
Now,
couldn't get a shot off.
Corner kick coming in from, I think, Paige Hammond. As this one's headed up in the air, Chernychev deflects, and it goes right into the waiting hands of Caroline Keys.
And the first chance for Brookline in a while. Besides that, the only shot they've had, Valeni Chernychev whipped one from the far left side, almost scored.
Now this one deflects up to Comella, who's taking off with it. Comella trying to go the other way, and it's saved by Sherwin.
Comella hitting it near to the ground. Sherwin bobbled it for a second. Sherwin, she's had some struggles with just bobbling it a little bit, but it always seems like she's able to corral it.
This pass goes up to Wellesley, now back to Hall. Hall lifts it out far side for Lindgren Palm. Lindgren Palm didn't get all she wanted on that pass, and it's disrupted, taken away by the Raiders. Pass to the middle, and it's blocked there by Wellesley, but recovered by Wellesley. Kicked forward, looking for Comella again. Boxed out well this time by Kesselman. Picked up by Sherwin, rolled into Vianello. Vianello upfield to Freeze. Freeze trying to cut around the defense and take off. Freeze has to slow down to keep control. Turns around, jukes. Trying to gain the edge here, sends one into the box, but it's going to be picked up off the hop by Caroline Keys.
And when Brookline's working it up the right side, Wellesley have been allocating 2 to 3 defenders, really knocking them to the side and limiting opportunities, just making Sydney Freeze kick it quick there.
This one headed forward by Kesselman. Freeze outside Vianello. Crosser, nobody quite where she put it. Kicked up in the air by Wellesley. A couple deflections. Rayor corrals it, passes it back to Thornton. Thornton goes to the outside, kicked up field, and it gets up to Comella. Comella holding the ball, dribbling towards the middle, swings a pass across for more. Knocked away by Freeze, but nobody in the vicinity to recover that one. Out of bounds, Wellesley ball.
That's been the thing with Brookline. Little miscommunications like that with the defense out of shape.
This one thrown in to Burnham. Burnham pass knocked away and out of bounds.
You can see Brookline bringing more defenders to the left side, not allowing anything else through those channels.
Moore throw in, tapped back to Moore, lifted over everybody's head, and it's ultimately picked up by Sherwin.
And Moore almost found Amy Comella sprinting down the middle. Amy Comella, she's had a couple of those where she's found herself open in the box.
And now Wellesley trying to bring it the other way. A pass across, disrupted by Chernychev, taken away by Leshley. Sends it forward for McKenna Hammond. Hammond swings it over to Vianello on the near side. Vianello surveys, goes back Kesselman. Kesselman's kick blocked by Burnham, and it's going to bounce out of bounds, Brookline ball.
Mirabel Kesselman there getting blocked out. That's one of the things Brookline does so well. They have the defenders kick it deep upfield to get it to the likes of McKenna Hammond and Sydney Freeze. Where Wellesley, they've been crashing before Brookline can get it out into the offensive areas.
Now off the throw-in, it's taken away again by Wellesley. Pass goes back to Peyton Keys, who goes back to Sullivan. Sullivan kicks it out to the far side. Now sent up the middle. Finds Stevens, goes back to Thornton. Thornton goes all the way back to Caroline Keys. Now they go back up the far side. Dribbling with it. Sent up the line and couldn't be corralled by Burnham. Out of bounds, Brookline ball.
Minna Burnham, she's been working up both sides of the field for Wellesley. She's been all over the field.
This one tapped forward by Leshley does get to McKenna Hammond. Hammond pass for Freeze. Opts for a pass for Leshley. Tripped up hard, no call as it's taken away by Wellesley. They clear it upfield, kicked right back by Hall. Up to Freeze. Freeze back to Kesselman. Kesselman winds and kicks this one way upfield, but nobody there to take it. It's going to be picked up by Keys.
Brookline's been trying to get the ball to Sydney Freeze in the middle of the field with Vianello behind her and having Vianello streak up the field to the right of Freeze.
Now this one corralled by Peyton Keys. And that pass lost out of bounds, got away from O'Grady, out of bounds. Brookline ball. Throw in to McKenna Hammond, tries to tap it back and couldn't be kept in bounds. Wellesley ball.
Well, now Vianello, she's been playing on defense, on defensive midfield for Brookline. Her and Babette Hall. Now you see Vianello at the same line as the backs. She's been all over.
I think that's just a shift they do when the ball goes to that left side. Or to the Wellesley's right, Brookline's left. Off the deflection, Wellesley corrals it. Pass goes back to Sullivan, and now up to Moore. Moore sends it up to Keys. Peyton Keys sends it back to O'Grady. O'Grady, long kick, well wide of the net, and Sherwin just watches it go out of bounds.
There's been a couple of those where Wellesley have just taken shots from far outside the box. So they've had little opportunity to get closer.
McGee to Lindgren Palm. Pass upfield is deflected and lost, taken away by Wellesley. This pass is controlled by the Raiders. They go back to Keys. Keys long shot well wide and taken off the hop by Sherwin.
Yet another long shot taken for Wellesley, this time by Keys. And Brookline, their defensive shape has really progressed in this game. Has an injury.
We've got an injured Wellesley player down. I don't quite see who it is. Hopefully she's okay. I always say we never root for an injury, but we are going to have an injury timeout here with 17 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock here in the first half. The number 2 seeded Wellesley High Raiders leading the number 3 seeded Brookline High Warriors 1-0 off a third-minute goal scored by Emily Burnham off a shot that ricocheted off the body of Mirabelle Kesselman that threw off Julia Sherwin and allowed the ball to go into the net. Just bad luck bounce for Brookline on that play, but they're trying to fight back in it, as I believe this is number 15, Kinsley Stevens, coming off the field now for the Raiders. Like I said, hopefully she is okay. She is walking off on her own power, so hopefully we'll see her back on the field. Because again, no matter who you're rooting for, you never root for an injury.
And always good to see that she's walking by herself without assist. I hope she can return later on. Looks like she's okay.
So out of the injury timeout, that'll be a drop ball. It was controlled by Brookline at the time of the injury, so they'll drop it in front of Sherwin here. And subbing in for Wellesley in her place will be number 16, Delaney Dyer. Sherwin surveying her options. Punts this one. Leshley couldn't deflect that one the way she wanted. It's kicked upfield by Gearhart. Knocked up in the air by Hall. Deflects back. O'Grady tries to send it forward. Knocked away by Lindgren Palm. Out of bounds, Wellesley ball. Brookline with a couple of subs waiting to check in once it's a Brookline ball on a throw-in or a Brookline free kick. This pass to Peyton Keys. Sends it forward, knocked away by McGee. Recovered now by Wellesley. Pass goes back to Peyton Keys again. Keys dribbling, sends one forward, finds Rayor, goes back. Long kick is going to be taken off a couple hops by Sherwin. Off that kick from, I believe, Gearhart.
Wellesley's had Avery Moore running up the left side from the back. Similar role to what Lindgren Palm's been doing for Brookline. So both of these teams running pretty similar strategies, at least in some aspects, and pretty decently similar defenses as well.
You mentioned Lindgren Palm as she's now chasing down this long leading pass from Freeze, trying to keep it inbounds, and I don't think she did. Lost it out the back line, just couldn't control the ball before it rolled out.
And the right idea, though, as Brookline's had a lot of success these playoffs when they've been working the ball from side to side, keeping a defense honest, and then exploiting open space.
Subs on the wings for Brookline, number 16, Haley Ament, and number 20, Priscilla Hill, replacing Julia Vianello and Elin Lindgren Palm. And off this goal kick, Moore slipped and fell. Has to quickly get the pass away, and they do survive that brief snafu there. Moore passes it upfield to Comella. Comella slides it across to Keys. Keys up to Comella. Comella taking off with it. Swarmed by defenders, but still staying with the ball. And now a slide tackle knocks it away. That was Leshley again. She's had a few big sliding deflections early for Brookline. Throw-in goes back to Burnham. Back up to Moore, who kicks it, deflected, and off the deflection, a scrum for the ball, pushes it almost out of the Brookline end, but corralled by the Raiders. This is Moore with the ball now. Pass to the middle to Burnham. Burnham goes back to Dyer. Dyer's pass intercepted by Kesselman, and Hill didn't have anyone to go to. That one goes out of bounds. More quick throw in for Keys. Keys back to Sullivan. Sullivan jukes around one. And now pass it across, intercepted by Freeze. Freeze taps to the outside for Ament. Ament trying to take off with it, but cut off by O'Grady on the far side. Lost out of bounds. Strong box out job by Ava O'Grady to prevent the rush by Ament, as now Freeze knocks this one out of bounds. Throw in for Wellesley. Goes to, I think, Rayor. Now that pass blocked by Chernychev. Gets it to Freeze. Taps it back for Leshley. Leshley spins away from a defender there. Trying to take off with it. Fits a pass through to Freeze. Freeze surrounded by defenders on all sides. Trying to fight her way through. But too many black jerseys in there, and it's cleared away by the Raiders. They get the clear kick all the way up to Comella. Turns around and resets. Sends one forward. Intercepted by Kesselman. Pass up, tapped back to Hill. Hill back to Kesselman, up to Chernychev. Chernychev out to Ament. Ament up the line looking for Freeze. Cut off, knocked out of bounds by Thornton. It'll be a Brookline throw-in.
Brookline now having Priscilla Hill run up the right side behind the defense. And as you can see, Priscilla Hill, nobody around her. This is what Brookline tries to do. Have the defense force all their defenders to one side and then get an open chance on the other.
Throwing in on that left side. Tap back. Ament. Kick towards the middle, headed away by Sullivan. Corralled by Chernychev, who launches that one well wide of the net, and it's going to bounce out of bounds. Goal kick.
Valentin Chernychev, second time today she's tried her luck, almost making a goal in the first 5 minutes that just missed the right side post. Chernychev, who had an incredible game 2 games ago against Braintree.
Off the goal kick, a scrum for the ball, and coming out with it is, I believe, Freeze. Tripped up there, and they called either a foul or out of bounds. Looks like out of bounds. Yeah, I think there's going to be a throw-in.
Some shouts for a foul, but the referee not having it.
Throw-in, scrum for the ball. Wellesley recovers it. Tight space they're working, and they lose it out of bounds. Brookline ball again. Quick throw-in for Freeze. Freeze battling in the corner. Trying to fight her way through. Try to pass. It was blocked. And it was kept in bounds, but now knocked out on the sideline to prevent the corner kick. Throw in this time goes to Leshley. Leshley taps it back out for Ament. Ament trying to cut to the baseline, but cut a little too hard, and the ball rolls out the back line. Goal kick.
Wellesley have done a really good job to close out on attackers today. Brookline haven't had really that many shots inside the box. A couple chances from outside, but even then, been minimal.
A substitution for Brookline, number 7, Amalia Lindgren-Palm, replaces McKenna Hammond. 10.5 minutes on the clock here in the first half. Still a 1-0 ball game in Wellesley's favor. This one lifted upfield, headed down by Leshley. Corralled by Keys. Pass, couple passes. Now Chernychev trying to push it up. And little Lindgren-Palm tried to go back with it, but intercepted. They push it forward. And now a pass to the outside for, I think, Comella, as Comella gets blocked, but that is going to draw a corner kick for the Raiders.
And the Raiders this time working it to the right as Brookline have shut down that left channel that they were really exploiting in the first about 5-10 minutes, led to the goal.
Corner kick coming in from Wellesley. Deflects down and cleared out by Brookline. Not fully out as Sullivan recovers, passes back. Floating shot from Thornton, and sliding in for it is Sherwin.
And Julia Sherwin, the sure hands. She slides forward.
Now Brookline trying to work it upfield. The pass goes up to Hill. Swings it over to Paige Hammond, who sends it back to Kesselman. Kesselman tried to go up the line, blocked this time, and it'll be a Brookline throw-in.
Wellesley's done a great job to contain Mirabel Kesselman. Usually she's able to kick it deep to either Freeze or Hammond and start an attack, but she hasn't been able to do that really at all today.
This one from Paige Hammond intercepted by Wellesley. Keys with it again. Pass forward is corralled by Comella, sent back to Moore, who sends it upfield into open space, and that's going to roll out the back line and be a Brookline goal kick.
So Brookline's midfield is shored up. Moore just trying to, just air-mailing it, trying to find somebody downfield.
Now setting up for a goal kick. About 8.5 minutes on the clock as Cherwin boots this one headed forward. Lindgren Palm tried to tap it along there, but couldn't. Kicked away by Sullivan. Out of bounds, Brookline ball once again.
As the Brookline defenders start to press a little bit more here in the late first half.
This throw-in taken away by Rayor. Pass out to Moore, who boots it upfield. Kesselman trying to box out and just has to tap that one out of bounds. Wellesley ball. Quick throw-in from Comella to Moore. Try and pass it around, but Kesselman knocks it away. Out of bounds. Throw-in again. Moore. Gives back to Moore. Kicks it forward. Nobody there. It's going to be picked up easily by Cherwin.
And Brookline, they've really not given up anything as of recent. Behind Julia Cherwin, a couple long shots for Wellesley, but it seems like the Brookline defense of their last game against King Philip has came up to play now.
This one lost out of bounds by the Warriors as Wellesley has been controlling the possession game for a few minutes now. Kicked upfield by Chernychev and corralled and passed over to Moore. Give and go goes back to Moore, who kicks it upfield, goes off the head of Comella. And she corrals it, passes it back out to Moore. Moore lifts it forward, looking for Burnham. Headed away by Kesselman, out of bounds.
And Brookline just bending but not breaking, Jesse. But Wellesley, as you were saying, super controlling the possession. Having it in Brookline's end, but not being able to get deep.
That one deflected by Chernychev. Corralled by O'Grady, who's looking for somewhere to go. Kicks it out of bounds to get away from the forward pressure from Freeze, and it'll be a Brookline throw-in as they try and flip that possession game the other way.
And Brookline have increased their pressures in the last couple minutes in the midfield and in their forwards.
Now Freeze with the ball. Pass through, and Hammond couldn't quite break through that one. As it's sent upfield by Wellesley. Gets back to Burnham. Burnham sends it up, finds an open Dyer. No offsides as Dyer trying to give this ball chase. Gets it in the corner, passes back Moore. Moore lifts it towards the middle. Weird deflection recovered by Wellesley. Pass and a shot up in the air by Dyer off the bounce. Oh, juggled but corralled by Cherwin.
And that shot from Dyer, almost from our angle, looked like it was headed for the top right corner, but it popped its way back down. And Julia Cherwin's made multiple good plays tonight.
Yeah, that one, like you said, went up in the air, but it was kind of like one of those foul balls at a baseball game. Goes straight up in the air, and you think, oh, maybe it's going out, and then it's just a routine fly out to the outfield. Perspective will mess with you that way. Burnham passes across to Gearhart. Gearhart, surveying her options, goes back to Thornton. Thornton, pass up the middle. Rayor gives to Gearhart, forward to Burnham, and now out to Moore. Moore misses that pass intended for, I think, Dyer, as it's now going the other way. Gets up to Freeze. Freeze lifts it out to the far side to Ament. Ament cuts towards the middle. Now gets passed through to Leshley. Leshley stumbles a bit, but keeps control. Now slides to the outside, finds McGee, who sends it up to Freeze. Freeze trying to pick up speed. And it was kicked. Did they get it out of bounds before it touched the back line? No, I don't think they did. I think we're getting a corner kick here for Brookline. Velena Chernychev going out to the far side corner to lift in this corner kick, as Brookline has a substitution coming into the game. Number 8, Juliana Siegel, replacing Paige Hammond as we set up for this corner kick.
Well, Siegel, who came in, who's had some playoff experience this year, she did have the injury.
This one lifted in, and it's headed wide.
And a near chance for Brookline, probably their best chance of the night. A near header nestling to the left side and almost a goal.
Looks like Leslie fell over on that play, and it looks like she was asking for a foul call. Thought she got hit a little too hard on that one, but it takes a lot to get a foul call inside the goal box. And so she wasn't going to get that one. 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Still a 1-0 lead in favor of Wellesley. This one out the far side. And now stolen away Siegel. Siegel trying to dribble around, but too many black jerseys in there. Taken away by Rayor. Sent forward, blocked by Hall. Deflects out to the far side. And Wellesley takes it back. Cut off now by Chernychev. Takes the ball away. Slides it across to Kesselman. Kesselman up to Hill. Hill pass misses Siegel there. Intercepted by Keys. Keys sends it up to Dyer. Dyer's pass blocked by Kesselman, but Dyer recovers. Gives it to Comella. Crosser blocked by Hall. And knocked down again by the Raiders, but they couldn't get a proper shot off, and so it's going to be picked up by Sherwin. Clock is about to be frozen at 2 minutes on the scoreboard to represent stoppage time here in the first half. The double whistle from the official will signify halftime. Wellesley's pass blocked, intercepted by Siegel, given now to Chernychev. Chernychev lifts this one near side to Hill. Hill pass skips past Siegel. Siegel staying with the ball and battling for it with Gearhart. Recovered now by Keys. Keys pass intercepted. And now taken back. This is Burnham with the ball on the far side. Burnham, pass forward knocked away, and Brookline recovers it. Siegel lifts it too far, out of bounds, Wellesley ball.
And Brookline, they've just been, this game's really been an even game between Brookline and Wellesley. Besides the goal from Wellesley, both sides have had a similar amount of chances, haven't really been able to get into the box, but a couple shots respectively.
And this one lost out of bounds by Wellesley. And it'll be Brookline throw-in. Up the far side, it's knocked out of bounds by the Wellesley defense. Another Brookline throw-in as they try and move the ball upfield here in stoppage time in the first half. This throw-in headed forward by Leslie gets to Freeze. Freeze moving up the far side, stops, tries to cut around. Too many black jerseys knocked away, recovered by Siegel. Siegel taps it back for Chernychev, who swings it back to Kesselman. Kesselman back to Hall, who boots it up in the air. Hill trying to go after it. Off the header, Lindgren Palm trying to recover, but it's taken away by the Raiders. Sullivan's clear pass. Intercepted now by Leslie, knocked away by Burnham. Leslie staying with it and takes it back. Pass back Siegel. Siegel over to Hill. Hill spins off a defender, moves up the near sideline, pass to the middle. Intercepted by Keys, headed forward to Rayor, headed further forward, kicked up by Leslie. And there is the double whistle for halftime. Our score at the half: the Brookline High Warriors 0, the Wellesley High Raiders in the lead with the game's lone goal so far. 1-0 the score. Emily Burnham with the lone goal from either side here in the first half.
Well, Jesse, we talked about before the game soccer being a game of inches. That goal from Emily Burnham being a perfect example, a deflection coming off of Mirabel-Kesselman, getting its way to the goal, and Brookline had a couple chances where they nearly scored. Wellesley in the box, she had a header that nearly hit the left side, and Valena Chernychev, she had one that she was almost able to curve into the right, but Wellesley just a little bit better in terms of the press, the midfield, and that's been the difference in this game.
All right, as we head into halftime, I remind you to check out the description section of this video where you can find a link to the official Venmo account of the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club, which supports all 6 Brookline High soccer teams, girls and boys, varsity, JV, and freshmen. And you can also find in the description section a link and phone number to our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Community Foundation. For over 100 years, the Brookline Community Foundation has been a trusted partner, supporting Brookline by investing in organizations and initiatives that help create opportunity and promote equity for everyone who lives, learns, works, and plays in our community. Among the foundation's many grant programs is the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School, which provides graduating BHS students with scholarships to help fund post-secondary education. To date, through the first 10 years of this scholarship fund, they have raised about $1.5 million in scholarship funding for graduating BHS students. Your help is crucial to supporting Brookline youth as they embark on the next steps in their educational journeys. Visit brooklinecommunity.org or call 617-566-4442 to learn more about the BCF Scholarship Fund for Brookline High School and how you can make a difference right here in Brookline. Once again, brooklinecommunity.org or call 617-566-4442. And again, you can find all that in the description section down below. But for now, we're going to take a break, and since we're recording this one, I'm just going to stop the recording and then just edit the 2 pieces together. But we will be back for the second half of this ball game. Stay tuned. Hello again, back on the mic. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan alongside Sam Lowenstein, coming to you from the campus of Weymouth High School in Weymouth, Massachusetts, for this 2024 MIAA Division I Girls Soccer State Tournament Final Four match between second-seeded Wellesley and third-seeded Brookline. The Wellesley Raiders with a 1-0 advantage through the first 40 minutes of the contest off a goal by Emily Burnham. And they had some long stretches in that first half where they were in control of the possession game. And Sam, you know that Brookline is going to be wanting to reverse that, get some more time in the offensive end, and try and get that equalizer.
Well, Brookline just didn't get very much time in the final third, really whatsoever. They had a couple shots that were deep from outside the box. Valena Chernychev took a couple chances, but the big thing that was an Achilles heel for Brookline was Mirabel-Kesselman was unable to get the ball out of her own half. Wellesley were consistently pressing her and double-teaming her, and that's really where Brookline's offense lays. If Kesselman can get it from one side to the other, stretch out the opposing defense, and just period get the ball up to the likes of McKenna Hammond, Sydney Freeze, Vianello, and the Brookline attackers, they weren't able to do that in the first half.
We'll see what they do here as the teams switch sides. Wellesley now playing from our left, Brookline from our right. Brookline to start us off here in the second half. A fresh 40 minutes on the clock. Brookline fighting to save their season here in the second half. They trail by 1. Here we go. McKenna Hammond sends it back to Valena Chernychev. Lifts it upfield, deflected down. Taken away by Taryn Rayor of Wellesley. Rayor sends a pass up for Annie Comella, taking off towards the net already. Inside the box, looking for a passing option as her pass is disrupted, but it is recovered by Rayor. Rayor now sends a crosser in, headed away by the Brookline defense. Elin Lindgren-Palm trying to clear it, but it's taken back by Comella. Comella's pass goes back to Ellery Gearhart, disrupted by Wellesley, and it's knocked back, recovered by Ava O'Grady. O'Grady's pass blocked by Lindgren-Palm, recovered by McKenna Hammond, sends it forward to Sydney Freeze, slides it across to Anna Wellesley. Wellesley quickly goes far side to Julia Vianello. Vianello surveying her options. Dribbling towards the middle, trying to turn around. Taps a pass for Paige Hammond, who sends it back to Mirabelle Kesselman. Kesselman dribbling around, passes all the way across the field. A slow roller out to Elin Lindgren-Palm, who sends it back to Jamie McGee. McGee up to Chernychev, now back to Babette Hall. Hall kicks it upfield, stopped by Avery Moore. Couple deflections. Out to the far side, out of bounds, Brookline ball.
Wellesley getting that chance with Comella running down the right side. Most of her impact has been done through the middle. A slight adjustment.
That one lost out of bounds again, still Brookline ball. Throw in too far. That one's probably going to bounce out of bounds unless somebody, and they could not get any kind of favorable deflection. That'll be a Wellesley goal kick.
But Brookline applying way more pressure, Jesse, to start this second half. They've been working it down the right side. They weren't able to get it at all on the right in the first half.
This one deflected down. Freeze tried to tap it for Hammond, kicked away by, I want to say, Lucy Thornton. Now working it the other way, the Raiders, and that clear kick by Hall blocked, and now they're going up with it, and a shot, missed it wide. A huge chance for Wellesley. That time I think it was Avery Moore off a pass from Annie Comella. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, the shot misses wide to the right.
And the first major chance of the half for Wellesley. Brookline, that's what happened to them in the beginning of the first half, how they allowed their first goal.
And now Wellesley trying to get through for a second, but Peyton Keys was blocked, and a nice sliding pass by Leshley gets up to McKenna Hammond. Hammond running the field with it, sending one forward, too far forward for Freeze, and it's picked up by Caroline Keys.
Well, Brookline, not the exact way they allowed the goal, but part of the issue when Brookline, they weren't compact on that play. And a near chance for Wellesley.
O'Grady lifts this one upfield, tapped forward by Emily Burnham, who has the game's only goal so far. And that one lost out of bounds. Hall got the favorable deflection off the body of Burnham, and it'll be Brookline ball.
Almost looked like it came off the body of Hall, but referee not calling it.
Oh, no, that definitely came off Burnham.
Almost looked like it came off Hall, back off of Hall to me, but maybe I'm seeing things.
It's tough because the benches are right around that near sideline. That can kind of throw off your field of view. This one upfield to Comella, couldn't corral it, booted away by Hall. Flying down the far side, Moore heads it, but it's corralled by Vianello. Vianello slides it over to Leshley. Leshley fires! Missed it high and wide.
Man, Anna Leshley, she's made such a defensive impact. Multiple huge slide tackles for Brookline, as she's been doing all this playoffs, taking a shot and got it reasonably close. Still skied it, but that ball had a chance.
Now a goal kick from Grace Sullivan. Knocked back by Lindgren Palm up to McKenna Hammond. Taps it, disrupted, but Leshley trying to stay with it. Tried to send one out, but couldn't get enough on it to get to Lindgren Palm. Taken away by O'Grady. O'Grady sends it up to Gearhart. Back to O'Grady. Now up the line. Misses Burnham out of bounds. Now a throw in. Looks like it's coming from Chernychev. Or no, she's going to leave it for Lindgren Palm to throw it in. And scrum for the ball. Attempted clear. Gets all the way up to Comella. Comella taps it out for Burnham. Burnham dribbling up with it. Juking against McGee. Crosser over the head of Comella. Swooping in for it. Couldn't be knocked in by Peyton Keys as she chases it down. Keeps it on the attack. Slides back to Moore, who sends it into the box. Headed away by Hall. Now headed forward. Booted right back into the box by Wellesley, but boxed out well, and it's picked up by Cherwin.
Annie Comella has been playing a similar role to what Sydney Freeze has been doing all season for Brookline, playing on the right as almost a right striker.
That was a hard collision for the ball, and I think we're going to have an injury stop here as, boy, both players collided in that one hard, and it looked like one of those where the neck has some sudden quick movement. Looks like everyone's okay, and they're going to call a foul on Wellesley for that play. So it's going to be a free kick for Brookline. Everybody's staying out there. So hopefully everyone's okay. You always worry when you see, hard collisions going up for a ball like that about the possibility of concussions.
And always head things, they're going to say a drop ball for Brookline, it looks like.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right, Sam. Good call there. A drop ball for Brookline, so they won't be able to set up the big kick, but McGee is going to slide it up to Lindgren Palm, who sends it back to McGee, gives it back to Lindgren Palm, and back to McGee again as neither one is getting the opening they want. Pass up to Chernychev and back to Hall. Hall up the middle, blocked by, I think that's Kinsley Stevens, who I think is back in the game, as Hall boots that one upfield, knocked back the other way. Corralled on the far side by Peyton Keys, but disrupted. Brookline took it away for a second, but couldn't keep control. Wellesley takes it away. Gearhart sends it forward. Down the far side. Crosser flying in, and almost a chance for Burnham to get goal number 2, but it's covered up by Sherwin, who almost didn't get it clean at first.
And a dangerous opportunity for Wellesley as Burnham nearly collided with Sherwin.
Now off this ricochet, McKenna Hammond sends it back to Lindgren Palm, pops it up in the air. Leshley's kick blocked. Now manages to tap it across. Paige Hammond sends it back. Now back up to Leshley. Back to McGee. Up to Lindgren Palm. Back to Chernychev. Chernychev back to Hall. Hall boots it upfield. Bounces past everybody. Corralled by Wellesley. Attempted kick across, headed forward by Lindgren Palm, gets to Freeze. Freeze one-on-one with a defender, but not much of an angle here as she approaches, cuts towards the middle, slides a pass across, shot whiffed by Lindgren Palm, but it's still in the box and they clear it out. Chase down, and my mistake, that's not Paige Hammond, that's Juliana Siegel. Starting here in the second half after coming in the middle of the first half, knocked away by Wellesley. Huge chance for Brookline on that crosser, but Leshley just kind of whiffed with her left, or no, not Leshley, Lindgren Palm, I think it was, who just kind of whiffed with her left foot on that one off the crosser from Freeze. Lindgren Palm's pass towards the middle, intercepted by Comella. Sent back to O'Grady. O'Grady up the line for Comella. Comella from the corner lifts a crosser over the head, and it's knocked away by Leshley. All the way back to Moore, who lifts it back towards the box. Off ahead, headed forward by Lindgren Palm. Tapped by Lindgren Palm again, gets it upfield, but knocked back by Moore. Over the head of Burnham again, headed away by Hall. Wellesley keeping it on the attack as this one deflects over to Comella. Pass back O'Grady. O'Grady lifts one, headed away by Kesselman off a collision. Recovered by Vianello. Vianello passing up the line for McKenna Hammond. Now back to Vianello. Now forward to Leshley. Leshley tried to send it back for Hammond, but she was too far forward, out of bounds, Wellesley ball.
And it's been that right side for Brookline that they've had so much more success on, playing much more fast-paced. They've been able to get into the final third out of the back, and it's created much more chances, including that shot for Lindgren Palm was just super unlucky as the Warriors were unable to cash in.
And this is going to be a penalty call against Brookline. It'll be a free kick for Wellesley.
But you can feel something in the air. Many more positive signs for Brookline in their play to start the second.
This one off the head of Siegel. Kesselman boxing out. Not sure why she was boxing out there, as it is Wellesley ball. Maybe she thought it was Brookline ball. Either way, Raiders slide a pass across, intercepted by Chernychev, but her pass intercepted right back by Thornton. Kicked back the other way by Brookline. Thornton tries to block it. Freeze trying to stay after it. Gets pass up to Hammond. McKenna Hammond taking off with it. Hammond charging in. Shot! Saved by Caroline Keys, as Hammond had to kind of rush that shot a bit, so it couldn't get enough on what was a pretty far distance shot.
McKenna Hammond under strong pressure, but again, Jesse, Brookline piling up these opportunities to start the second.
This one kicked back by McGee, bounces over McKenna Hammond and over Sullivan. Hammond was trying to give chase there. Sullivan barely gets the ball away, and Moore opts to just send that one out of bounds. It'll be a Brookline throw-in deep in the Wellesley end as they rush it fast. Knocked away and taken by Wellesley. They clear it out. Disrupted by Kesselman, and it's going to be Wellesley ball.
Man, McKenna Hammond just shot out of a cannon there, almost able to get to it.
Throw in. Tapped along the far side. Upfield, Burnham. Burnham. Pass for Keys, disrupted. Kicked away by Kesselman. Tapped back by Wellesley. Burnham tries to go outside. Knocked away by Lindgren Palm. Off the head of Sullivan, up to Rayor. Deflects off a couple of players. Chased down by Siegel, but her pass intercepted by Peyton Keys. Keys pass. And can it be kept in bounds? Nope. Just goes over the line. Wellesley did not like that one. They wanted O'Grady to be ruled to have kept it inbound so she could try and make a rush up that sideline, but nothing doing.
And from our angle, looked like to me that ball was in, but nonetheless, Brookline getting the call there.
Kicked upfield by Chernychev up to McKenna Hammond, back to Siegel. Siegel's kick blocked by Stevens and booted up now by Kesselman, and that's going to fly out of bounds. Wellesley ball, but nice to see Stevens back in the game after she left in the first half due to injury. Throw in for Wellesley here. Battle along that far side. They get the kick upfield for Keys. Keys taken off with speed. Pass couldn't get through, blocked by Hall. Stays in bounds, collected by, I think, Burnham. Burnham tries a long shot, and it's blocked by Hall, and that's going to go out of bounds, and that's going to draw the first corner kick of the second half, and it will go to Wellesley.
And as Burnham takes that shot, that's another case where Brookline, with their defenders back, Wellesley having to take a chance from long distance and not getting a huge result out of it.
Lining up for the corner here. I think it's Keys who is kicking this one. This one flies in, and it's wide and out of bounds, goal kick.
Tried to curve the ball in its way into the inside corner, going for the Olympico, but couldn't work it out.
26:40 on the clock here in the second half. This one headed along by Leshley, downed by Hammond. Freeze tries a pass, knocked away by Wellesley, recovered by Keys. Give and go, goes back to Keys. Keys up to Burnham. Burnham stops, looks, cuts forward, gains the edge. The crosser blocked by Kesselman, and I think that's going to be another corner kick for the Raiders.
And Mirabel Kesselman closing out there. Brookline has done a really good job ever since that area being a weakness for them when they allowed Wellesley to make their way around. They've been so strong on the left side, not allowing any balls to come in from there.
This corner kick flies in, bouncing along, still around the box, and now finally chased down by Freeze, who clears it out. That's going to fly out of bounds, but Brookline averts disaster there.
Wellesley focused on applying the pressure in the press in all facets of the game.
This one recovered now by McKenna Hammond, but she's all by herself against multiple defenders. Keeps control, passes over to Siegel. Siegel with some space to dribble. Slides it out to the far side. Vianello tries a long kick, and it's going to be taken off a hop by Caroline Keys.
Vianello looking for a streaking Sydney Freeze through the left side. Sydney Freeze has been relatively quiet today after in Brookline's last game against King Philip Freeze with 2 goals, including one inside of a minute.
This one attempted clear, taken back by Lindgren Palm, lifts it forward, headed away. Downed by Wellesley, recovered by Lindgren Palm, back to Chernychev. Chernychev back to Kesselman. Kesselman gives back to Chernychev. Chernychev goes up to Freeze. Freeze dribbling around, pass back, Siegel. Siegel slides it over to Chernychev. Brookline taking their time looking for the opening as Chernychev goes to Kesselman. Now upfield for McKenna Hammond. Disrupted, and now a trip up called against Hammond, and that's going to be a Wellesley free kick.
And really, Jesse, that play could be a microcosm of the struggles for Brookline this game. They looked their way around as an injury here.
And indeed, we've got another injured Wellesley player down. We did see Kinsley Stevens leave the game with an injury in the first half. She came back in the second half, so we certainly hope that whoever this is okay as well.
Just hate to see it.
Time on the clock, 23 minutes, 47 seconds as we have an injury timeout. Looks like the player is up and is okay. I believe that's Burnham, who was down but appears to be okay now. This free kick flies, headed down and lost out of bounds. Wellesley ball. Quick throw in. Pass across gets to Keys. Peyton Keys slides it out to the near side to O'Grady. O'Grady trying to cut towards the corner, looking for a crosser, blocked by Lindgren Palm. Second attempt does get into the box, but right to Hall, who clears it back out. But her clear goes right to Keys. Keys dribbling in, looking for something there against the double team, and ball's knocked out of bounds. And I think that's going to be a throw-in for Wellesley. Looks like.
But many times this game, Brookline, they've been surveying their way around near the box, trying to find an opening, and out of nowhere, Wellesley has just shut them down. Struggle to make decisive passes.
Battling in the corner. Pass out. Now Keys lifts across her, headed away by Hall, booted up in the air. Deflects out of bounds, stays Wellesley ball as the Raiders keep up the pressure. O'Grady throws it in. Gearhart tries to lift one up in the air and juggled but picked up by Sherwin as she rolls this one in up the far side to Vianello. Vianello with the big boot up, knocked right back by Moore. Out of bounds off Siegel, and Wellesley takes it right back.
Oh, Wellesley's reapplied the pressure after Brookline controlled the tempo of the game in the first couple minutes of this half. Wellesley been consistently in Brookline's final third.
As this will be another Wellesley throw-in. Deep in the Brookline end now with about 21.5 minutes to go. Score still 1-0 as this one lifted into the box, and Sherwin waiting for it.
And this has been a game of pure possession in a tight 1-0 game. Whoever has the ball the most chances is going to be able to get the goals, and that's what's happened with Wellesley today.
Couple deflections there, booted away. Headed back the other way off of the deflections, recovered by Siegel. Siegel back to Chernychev. Chernychev goes back to Hall. Hall boots it up in the air. Deflects to McKenna Hammond. Hammond trying to take off with it, met by the defense. Couldn't muscle her way through against Thornton, and it's cleared out by the Raiders. Burnham touches it along, looking for Comella. Comella taking off, running against Kesselman. Comella's kick blocked again by Kesselman, and that will draw another corner for the Raiders.
And the Raiders have had a lot of success running down the left side in these last couple minutes. And just in general of the game, they've been getting quick attacks and then pinning Brookline on their heels.
So now with 20 minutes and 20 seconds left in this game. Another corner kick chance for Wellesley as they are trying to add to a 1-score lead. Corner kick flies in. Crazy ricochets. Brookline tries to clear it, but it goes right back to Wellesley. They try a through pass. Too much traffic. Brookline couldn't quite clear it out. And the ball's still in a sea of players there. A pass gets through to Stevens. That shot blocked. And now out of the scrum, Brookline finally able to clear it out. Like you said, Sam, for much of this half, it's felt like such a big effort for Brookline just to get it out of their own end after those first opening minutes. Now Wellesley with control of possession. Pass goes up to Rayor. Back to Thornton. Thornton's kick. Tapped along, O'Grady, and a big slide tackle by McGee. And that one out of bounds. I think they signaled goal. They signaled goal kick, not corner kick. They're going to say the Wellesley player was giving chase for that ball and touched it last. I thought it was going to be another corner kick chance. But now even bigger on that stop by Jamie McGee as Haley Ament and Paige Hammond check back into the game for Brookline, replacing Julia Vianello and Juliana Siegel.
Well, a heroic play from Jamie McGee sliding in from behind. A clean tackle getting all ball.
Sherwin's goal kick bounces up to Freeze. Freeze taps it over for Leshley. A bit too much traffic, though, and it's taken away by the Raiders. Rayor passing forward. Comella holding it near the sideline. Now sends in a crosser. Header was whiffed there. Deflects over to Leshley. Lifts it out to the far side to Ament. Ament gives to Chernychev. Chernychev. That one deflects forward to McKenna Hammond, but could not corral it out of bounds. Wellesley ball again.
And as you were talking about, Jesse, it seems just that Wellesley, they've almost been playing keep away with Brookline. They've been able to pick and choose where they attack, when they attack. And they've been having a lot of success with it.
This one rolled in. Pass up to Lindgren Palm. Lindgren Palm over to Paige Hammond. Goes back to Hall. Hall boots it and deflects down. Leshley trying to corral it. Does get a pass away to Chernychev. Chernychev kicks one. Knocked back. Downed by Chernychev again. Tries another pass. Intercepted. Quick move by Thornton to knock that one away from Freeze. Now Wellesley controlling the ball. Burnham spins off a defender, takes off running, and gets hit from behind, and that's going to draw a foul call, and that'll be a free kick for Wellesley.
And now giving the Raiders another opportunity. They haven't had many free kicks, mostly corner kicks, but this one from a dangerous position on the left side.
Lining up for it looks like Peyton Keys, number 19, alongside number 6, Avery Moore, is what I'm seeing. We'll see which one of them opts to kick it.
Brookline bringing every single defender back, every single player back.
And first one fakes. Keys, low pass, looking for more. Crazy deflection, and it's out of bounds, goal kick.
So that one came off Comella. Back in off the ricochet, and this will give Brookline a chance to get out of their own end and put some pressure on the Wellesley Raiders. They did a really good job of that at the beginning of the second half.
This one headed forward to McKenna Hammond in a sea of black jerseys there as this one kicked away, out of bounds, stays Brookline ball.
Well, the Raiders have been pushing the Brookline Warriors to each side, hitting them out of bounds and not allowing Brookline to get any sustained attacks.
And once again, it'll be Brookline balls. They're slowly moving up the field, 15.5 to go as they still trail by 1. And we got a flag up. And I think we got a foul call against, or No, we got a handball call against Brookline. Quick free kick from Wellesley as it deflects back. Lifted out near side, chased down by McGee, who pops it up in the air, still in bounds. O'Grady going back for it. O'Grady up the sideline, or kick blocked out of bounds by Chernychev. Wellesley ball. O'Grady throws it in. Goes off the head of, I think, Keys, knocked away, recovered by Stevens, pushes it forward, but nobody there. It's going to be picked up by Sherwin. 14.5 to go. Brookline needs a goal to try and save their season here in the Final Four, as this one deflects out of bounds. Still Wellesley ball. Quick throw in. They pass back. Moore kicks it. Tapped along by Keys for Burnham. That clear kick blocked again, but it's a sliding Sherwin who falls on it.
And Sherwin's been busy today. Been super sure-handed.
Sherwin rolls it into McGee. Sends it up the line. Lindgren Palm. Disrupted again. The forward pressure from Wellesley as Burnham charges in. Crosser again. Too high for the header. They've had a bunch of crossers fly over the heads of their teammates as Kesselman boots this one away for McKenna Hammond. Ricochets taken away by, I think, Sullivan. Pass to the middle. Knocked away again by Kesselman. Off the head of Thornton. And passed back from, I think, Keys to O'Grady. O'Grady bringing it up. Jukes around one. Jukes around another. Charging in, looking for the crosser. Crosser blocked by Hall. And she couldn't get it out the side. And so that's going to be another corner kick for the Raiders with just over 13 minutes to play.
A great job by O'Grady there, and that's where Wellesley have had their most offensive success has been when they've been able to get close, coming in from either side.
This one flies in, bouncing along. Attempted clear by Brookline is blocked and headed out of bounds. Goal kick.
Well, Brookline, they've done a really good job actually in their own defensive end. The problem is, for most of this game, they've been in their own defensive end.
And we got a timeout called now, I believe, by Brookline. And the time on the clock, 12 minutes and 38 seconds. Brookline in kind of a similar situation to the last time they faced Wellesley in the playoffs. In that Elite Eight contest, Wellesley led 1-0 for much of the game. Brookline got a little lucky getting the equalizer late in the second half on a free kick by Anna Leshley that went in and out of the goalie's hands and bounced into the net. That sent the game to overtime, where Sydney Freeze got the game winner that sent Brookline to that year's Final Four. Now here in this year's Final Four, Brookline facing Wellesley once again, and once again they are trailing 1-0.
And Jesse, we've talked about this playoffs that for a team to win a state championship, often a little bit of luck is needed. Brookline had a little bit of luck throughout their last two games, both of them which were close games. Even that 2-0 win, a close 2-0 win, and then this game, Wellesley have had the bearing of the luck with that ricochet goal in the first couple of minutes.
It's certainly a tough spot for Brookline, you know, feeling like, man, if not for that unlucky ricochet, this could still be tied at 0-0, but you've just got to play through it, and you've just got to find a way to get that ball in the back of the net to tie the game up. And we'll see what kind of adjustments Brookline might be able to make. I mean, what's been tough for Brookline is it feels like any time one of their players collects the ball, immediately two or three Wellesley players are on them. They've not been able to get too many passes to players in stride so far. And if they could get one of those, the way that Wellesley's gotten some of those passes to players like Comella, when they sometimes hit her in stride and then she's just able to pick up speed and cut around people, Brookline's not been able to find those kind of passes. We know they can make those kind of passes. That's how Freeze got her 2 goals in that round of 8 contest against King Philip, but they've not been able to get them here against Wellesley so
And in
far.
that game against King Philip, Sydney Freeze was able to exploit a King Philip team that wasn't allocating a lot of their defenders to the middle of the field. Wellesley have been so compact in addition to their double teams.
Off the timeout, it is booted upfield now by Kesselman. This one going to bounce out of bounds, and it'll be Wellesley ball.
Well, again, Wellesley getting it here, but even the out-of-bounds calls that Brookline gets when they slowly move it up on the throw-ins, they haven't been able to cut it back into the box.
This one down by Chernychev, sends one forward, and just barely tapped away by Caroline Keys. The clear knocked back by Chernychev, and Chernychev recovers it again. Staying with the ball, passes it back. Goes further back to Hall. Hall jukes a bit, sends it upfield, knocked right back by Moore, recovered by Chernychev again. Goes back to Hall, and Hall boots this one upfield. Bouncing. Lindgren Palm got boxed out there by O'Grady, who recovers the ball. Her kick knocked out of bounds by Freeze, and it will be a Wellesley throw-in.
Looks like Brookline have changed their strategy. They're now trying to kick it up as far as they can using Babette Hall. So the defenders have been closing out on Kesselman. Just trying to get any offensive bounce they can in a good position.
Throw in for Brookline, Lindgren Palm up to Freeze. Freeze, not a lot of space, and it's kicked away by the Wellesley defense. Goes back to McGee, who kicks it towards the middle. And fighting for it, it's corralled and booted away by the Raiders. Controlled now by Comella. And knocked out of bounds by McGee. Wellesley ball, 10.5 to go. Quick throw in to Gearhart, tapped back Comella. Comella up to Gearhart. Gearhart into the corner, cuts back out. Crosser knocked away by Hall. Now headed forward by Keys. And Gearhart controlling it on the sideline again, draws the favorable deflection with still Wellesley ball.
And Wellesley, they haven't been flashy on offense, but they've been able to control the pace of the game, suffocating Brookline.
And you can see Wellesley playing the clock game in the corner there, as that one never went out of bounds, but Brookline's attempted clear goes right to Burnham. Knocked away, recovered now by Gearhart again, or no, by Comella, excuse me. Comella launches a long one, taken off the hop by Sherwin. But you can see Wellesley already thinking about killing clock by pinning that ball near the corner as Sherwin punts this one away, goes off the head of Rayor. Out of bounds, Brookline ball.
And Jesse, Wellesley haven't had all that many more chances than Brookline have had. Just came down to that goal.
And Brookline's got to go back to the proper spot to throw that one in. Even further back, and Brookline's got to make sure they're in the right spot as time is not their friend right now with 9 minutes to go. Throw-in goes off the head of Burnham. And off another head, recovered now by, Paige Hammond. Passes back to Kesselman, sends it up the line. Out of bounds, Wellesley ball. Quick throw in. Deflects a couple times. Goes to Comella again. Comella pass back Keys. Keys up to O'Grady. O'Grady defended by McGee. She kind of whiffed on her first kick attempt. Had to go for a slide tackle. That knocked that one out the back end. It's going to be another corner kick chance for Wellesley.
And Wellesley have been working each side. They've gotten a ton of corners in this second half. Brookline have had to play on their back foot really the entire game. Had a spurt in the beginning of the second half. They were able to control possession. Besides, that's been all Wellesley.
This shot just wide from Burnham.
Man.
A great low pass from Wellesley set up Burnham perfectly, but she curves that one just a bit too much wide of the post.
Burnham getting into wide open space there.
This kick goes up to Chernychev, blocked but recovered by Paige Hammond. Sends it back to McGee. McGee lifts it, and again it curves out of bounds on him. Wellesley ball. O'Grady to throw it in. 7.5 to go. Still 1-0 in Wellesley's favor. And that one was lost out of bounds. Bit of a late call, but it is out of bounds Brookline ball. And throw-in goes to Freeze. This one deflects. Gearhart taps it forward. Hammond disrupted on her kick. Leshley battling for position. Kicks it forward. O'Grady gonna get there first. Taps it back to Keys, the netminder, who pops it up in the air. Chernychev chasing it down. Popping it over her head to herself. Still keeping control. Turning around. Looking for somewhere to go. A couple passes, gets to Freeze, sends one forward for Lindgren Palm. Lindgren Palm, crosser, deflects, and cleared out. And it's controlled by Peyton Keys, passed back for Gearhart. Pass deflected, but does get up to Comella. Comella dribbling up, pass through, Burnham chasing it. Has to stop and turn around, limited angle, but she is in the corner. And they're going to call a foul there on Hall, and that's going to be a free kick in what is essentially a corner kick type spot for the Raiders with 6 minutes to go.
And Wellesley's had so much success on the right side. Brookline, in playing their compact defense to guard against short shots, they've been left a little bit exposed on the wings. Referee coming over.
Making sure it's set up in the proper spot, I guess, as we await this kick. I think it's Comella and Keys up there. One of them will kick this one in. Comella taps it, and they're just going to hold it in the corner. They're trying to kill clock here at the end of the second half. As it rolls out of bounds, that'll be a corner kick.
That's a super lucky break for Wellesley. Brookline just trying to get a gasp of possession with 5:35 to go.
And again, they're just going to hold it in the corner. This is classic strategy, but now they pass it out to Burnham. They know Brookline has got to commit covering the corner there, as I think they called offsides on Comella there, and so Brookline will get a free kick chance, and they've got to move this ball as again, got to get it in the proper spot. In a few seconds, the clock will be frozen at 5 minutes for stoppage time here in the second half as Kesselman boots this one. Booted away by, I think, Keys, headed forward by Burnham. Burnham headed for the corner again, gets bowled over by McGee. That's going to draw another free kick. Oh, they are letting the clock tick away. Usually it would stop at 5 minutes. Maybe they're letting it go all the way down to 2. Maybe it's different here. I'm not sure.
Clock is stopped at 4:37.
Now it's stopped. So just a little late to get to it. As they set up, it is now stoppage time. The only way to signal the end of this game will be the triple whistle from the officials. Brookline fighting to try and keep their season alive as Burnham takes this one back towards the corner. Her pass intercepted by Chernychev, but couldn't clear it. Taken back by Comella. Comella dribbling out of the corner and slices that one well wide of the box. Taken off a couple hops by Sherwin. Rolls it in for Kesselman. Kesselman winds and boots this one upfield to Freeze. Freeze taps it along. Leshley lifts it up in the air. Chasing after it. McKenna Hammond battling. It's knocked away. Still playable, though, on the far side for Ament, and it looks like that's going to draw a corner kick for Brookline. Brookline going to set up in the corner with a chance to tie this one up.
Could this be a repeat of last year?
This one lifted in, knocked away. Not enough lift on that corner kick, and it's cleared out by the Raiders. Downed now by McGee. Rolling to the outside, they can't get there in time, and it's going to be a Wellesley ball.
And that's just been how today is. Every time Brookline, it looks like they get an opportunity, something little goes wrong, and Wellesley retains control.
Throw in here. Scrum for the ball, taken away by Brookline. Freeze, trying to battle through. Ball deflects over to Chernychev. Chernychev to Leshley. Leshley, pass just under the official's foot, gets around to McGee. McGee sends it up the line looking for Lindgren Palm, knocked away by O'Grady. Comella boots it upfield, and now Brookline's going to have to try and flip the field again. And this kick blocked by Burnham, who's been so big for Wellesley all game. Dribbling along the sidelines again, killing clock. Brookline has got to get that ball away. Pass to Comella, and their pass back blocked by McGee. And it's going to be picked up by Sherwin. Brookline has got to move. Sherwin kicks it over to Kesselman. Kesselman dribbling up with it. Still dribbling, sends a pass through to McGee. McGee boots it upfield. Freeze giving chase. And it's lost out of bounds. Another corner kick for Brookline. Trying to set up fast in the corner. Freeze setting up to take it herself.
As we have 2:10 on the clock. Clock is still moving.
Brookline trying to find the equalizer here at the end of the second half. Freeze. This one comes in high. A couple deflections. Still in the box. Cleared out by Wellesley. Bouncing along. Wellesley trying to keep it in bounds. They keep pushing it forward. No, it was out of bounds somewhere. Now the clock frozen with 2 minutes to go. So now we are in stoppage time. Brookline throws it in up the line. Tap it forward. Battling in the far side corner, McKenna Hammond gets a pass. It's through. Chernychev sails it high.
Valena Chernychev, a golden opportunity. She sails it a bit high.
Had to kick it with her left foot just because of how it was coming across. Might have been better if she'd taken a half second to stop it so she could kick it with her dominant foot. This kick knocked back by Leshley, up to Freeze, taps it back out, looking for Leshley. Leshley keeps it in bounds. Leshley trying to pass, nothing there. Kicked away by Wellesley. Deflected back, Chernychev taps it forward. They're trying to crash for it, but it's caught by Keys. Caroline Keys holding the ball. It's in Wellesley's best interest to clear a clock, to waste time here as they try and punch their ticket to the state finals. And they're just a couple minutes away. Off the deflections. There's a high kick called against Wellesley. Brookline trying to set up fast for the free kick. Leshley boots it. Upfield. Header, Freeze! In! I don't believe it! Brookline's tied the game! Sydney Freeze from Anna Leshley. I don't know if we'll have time to show the replay, but that was insane. Booted upfield by Leshley. Sydney Freeze waiting for it to go past her, then just taps it. The goalie over pursued it, and it goes in, and the season is not done yet.
Seconds from death. A miracle here in Weymouth for the Brookline Warriors. And the legend of Sydney Freeze versus Wellesley continues.
They call her Sid the Savior, and she has donned the cape yet again. And wow, right after the goal, they blow the whistle. That's the end of regulation. Folks, can you believe we are going to overtime?
Would you believe it, Jesse? Sydney Freeze coming up in the biggest moment of her career.
And huge celebrations from Brookline. You know they're feeling it after just barely getting that miracle game-tying score in the final seconds of regulation. Literally seconds after they scored that goal, they blew the whistle for regulation. We are going to overtime. Brookline, for the second time this postseason, they managed to get the comeback tie on Braintree in the round of 16 and force overtime. That game, of course, went to shootouts. We'll see how far this one goes, folks. If you remember that one, you'll remember that they're going to put, I believe it's 10 minutes on the clock for each overtime period. If a team, if nobody scores in the first overtime, they go to double overtime. If nobody scores in double overtime, they go to shootouts. If anyone scores in any of those overtime periods, the game is over. 1-1 is the score at the end of regulation. Overtime is upon us.
Sydney Freeze reviving the Brookline Warriors spirit, their team literally seconds away from going home, and Wellesley going to the state finals. Sydney Freeze comes up big again last year. Sydney Freeze with the overtime victory goal in the Elite Eight against Wellesley. Her playoff run continues. And I'm just pure speechless.
That was career goal number 25 for the Brookline senior captain, Sydney Freeze. And what a time to get such a milestone of a score. She entered this postseason with 19 career goals. She scored 6 in these playoffs. Had a hat trick against Brockton, had 2 against King Philip, and now has 1 here. And having gotten an assist in the Braintree game, she's gotten at least 1 point in every playoff game so far for Brookline. And Anna Leshley, another senior co-captain, getting her 19th career assist on that play.
Anna Leshley, who's played so well in the midfield, she's been all over the place making slide tackles this entire playoffs. One of the most underrated players on Brookline. We talk about Sydney Freeze, those 6 goals. She's been incredible, but Anna Leshley, one of the most valuable players for the Warriors.
And the seniors keep their careers alive for at least 1 more period.
And man, Jesse, it's been the story of the seniors. Valena Chernychev having an incredible game in that game against Braintree. And then last time we called it against King Philip, Sydney Freeze scoring 2 goals, 1 about inside 30 seconds to set the tone of the game, and then following it up with another goal, and then Sydney Freeze getting the clutchest goal you'll ever see tonight against Wellesley.
Unbelievable. You never know what you're going to get with playoff soccer.
And Jesse, when there was about 3 minutes left in stoppage time, something shifted. It was when Sherwin passed it out to the right side. There was just wide open space in Brookline. They turned up the tempo, and I had this weird sense that there was going to be a goal. Not sure where it came from, but the momentum, the pendulum definitely shifted. And we've talked about getting a little bit of luck to go their way. Brookline, they got that little bit of luck.
And now we go to overtime. A fresh start with the score tied at 1. And so the first team to score in overtime will be going to the state championship game on Saturday. Who will be the winner? Who will be the hero? We shall see. The teams will stick to their same sides from the second half. Wellesley on the left, Brookline on the right. So far, teams have only scored while playing from the right side. Wellesley scored in the first half, Brookline in the second. Here in the overtime period, Wellesley will have first possession. 10 minutes on the clock for this overtime period here in the Final Four. Just awaiting the arrival and signal from the officials. These players just anxious to get going here in this overtime period.
Anxiety-provoking game. Brookline hope to be riding high going into overtime. After that goal from Sydney Freeze, they'll hope it will take them over the edge to the state championships.
And boy, it feels like every second that this overtime period doesn't start, it's just on the edge of your seat kind of feeling. And here we go. Taran Rayor will start us off at midfield here in overtime. The score is 1 apiece. And we get started. Booted upfield by the Raiders. Headed back by Wellesley. Headed down. And off the deflections, it's pushed forward by Paige Hammond. And it's knocked away by Wellesley, cleared upfield. Goes all the way back to Jamie McGee, who lifts it out to the near side, kicked up by Ava O'Grady. Goes up to Comella. Comella sends it forward to Burnham. Burnham tries a shot! Just wide, and it's picked up anyway by Sherwin.
Well, Burnham's been so dangerous down the right side for Wellesley. Brookline's had trouble defending her in the second half.
Off several ricochets, Wellesley kicks this ball forward. Off ahead. Kept in bounds by Wellesley. They kick it towards midfield. And Chernychev swoops in to try and take that ball away, but cannot. Keys gets a pass to Burnham. Up to Comella. Comella bringing it forward. Comella 1-1 with McGee. Passes away. Knocked upfield by Chernychev, but blocked by Stevens. Wellesley corrals the ball. Passes out far side for, I believe, Ament. Now racing up with it. And a kick forward. Too far forward, and it's taken off the hop by Caroline Keys.
Ament looking for a streaking Sydney Freeze or Lindgren Palm on a potential ricochet.
This one downed by Lindgren Palm. Lindgren, and we got we've got Velena Chernychev down now. And she's trying to walk it off, but her nose is bleeding.
Bloody nose.
She's got to come off. She's got to come off. They got to get the blood to stop. She's not allowed to stay out there. You could tell her body language is saying, no, let me get back in this game. You know, this could be, as Chernychev, another senior co-captain, this could be the last game of her career, or it could punch their ticket to the state finals depending on what happens. You know she wants to stay in, but she will have to come out as they battle for the football. Freeze trying to cut around. Freeze cut off by O'Grady, knocked out of bounds. Brookline corner kick coming up.
But Freeze earning a corner, and we've talked about so much this game, momentum, getting that goal. It is shot Brookline into the driver's seat.
Freeze lining up herself for the corner kick. Flies in. Header stays in the box. Tapped back out to Freeze. Freeze lifts it back in the air. Bouncing. Nothing doing. But Brookline keeps it on the attack. They tap it back out. Long shot over the bar and out of bounds. Goal kick.
Nearly a Brookline Warriors goal.
I think that was Lindgren Palm who got that last kick, as she had been swapped over to the right side from her normal spot on the left side wing, but just too high. As this one bouncing along, kicked forward by Keys. Chased down by Hall. But Comella hit from behind by Kesselman, and that's going to draw a foul, and this is going to be a free kick now for the Raiders. We're just 3 minutes into overtime, but we've already seen so many scary chances as Peyton Keys lines up to kick this one.
And the Raiders applying their first little bit of pressure in overtime with this free kick opportunity.
Well, after that rush by Burnham in the opening seconds of overtime.
That too.
Kick from Keys. Into the box. Players get tangled up. Oh, I think they blew a foul on Brookline in the box. This is going to be a PK chance for Wellesley. Disastrous for the Warriors here. Players just got tangled up in the box that time. Looked like a Wellesley player might have had inside leverage, and so the Brookline defense trying to knock the ball away, but instead it'll be a penalty shot from Peyton Keys to potentially decide things here. With 6:26 on the clock here in overtime, Keys versus Sherwin could decide it. And it's in. And that will do it. The Wellesley High Raiders punch their ticket to the state finals off the PK goal from Peyton Keys. A tough way to end it. You can see the Brookline players heartbroken out there, as it was a tough and they confirm with the PA announcement that it was the Wellesley senior captain Peyton Keys who is the ultimate hero in overtime. The final score here in the Final Four. In overtime, the second-seeded Wellesley High Raiders 2, the third-seeded Brookline High Warriors 1.
Well, a back-and-forth affair between Brookline and Wellesley. A well-played game by both sides. Sherwin made a great attempt on the ball, just Peyton Keys perfectly taken penalty to send them to the state championship.
Yeah, like you said, Sherwin, she read the right direction, reached as far as she could, but just a very well-placed ball by Peyton Keys on the penalty shot there. And you know what? Sometimes the bounces go your way, sometimes they don't. Both teams kind of got a freak bounce for their goals in regulation. And then ultimately, it was that inside leverage that Wellesley drew on that free kick to draw the penalty in the box that got that PK chance that ultimately made the difference. You and I talked about it earlier, Sam. It's a game of inches, and this time Wellesley just had a few inches more.
You bet, Jesse. Brookline had their inches, Wellesley had their inches, but it just came down to a couple inches on that last penalty kick.
Well, that is going to do it for this game, and for Brookline, that will do it for the season. The Wellesley High Raiders will advance to play the winner of the next Final Four game between first-seeded Natick and fourth-seeded Bishop-Feehan. That game will be played on Saturday. But as for Brookline, their season comes to an end here in the Final Four. And I'm going to give my own personal thoughts, my own personal messages at the end of this broadcast. But first, Sam, I'm going to toss to you your final thoughts on this game, on this season, on this team, and you can take off your headset and then I'll close it out. Your thoughts, Sam?
Well, it's been a great season for Brookline, a super talented team. The seniors coming up super huge in the playoffs. Valena Chernychev had an incredible game. Sydney Freeze, super consistent, scoring a whopping 6 goals throughout the playoffs. Couldn't have been any better. Brookline as a team played great. Just a couple bounces going the way of Wellesley in this game. Two perfectly even matched teams. Both their teams had their streaks where they were dominating the other side. It was back and forth. Brookline, they beat a lot of great teams this season. Why they were number 3rd ranked. They had one of the toughest schedules in the entire state, and they were able to deliver in their matchups. But it comes down to the little things, just small inches, and Wellesley was able to have those things go their way.
All right, thank you so much for joining me here in this playoff run. Sam, it's been a pleasure, and I will see you in the winter, good sir.
See you in the winter. Thanks for having me on. and a great season for the Brookline Warriors.
All right. Sam Lowenstein, thank you again for joining me. And now I'm just going to offer my own final notes on this season. As Sam said, you know, what a hard-fought season for Brookline they had. By the power rankings of the MIAA, they had the highest strength of schedule in Division I, had their ups and their downs throughout this season. But once it came time for the playoffs, they fought as hard as anything, and I would really classify this as their best playoff run that I've seen from them over 4 years, 4 post-COVID years of covering this team in a strong march to the Final Four. And on that note, I just want to give some final fond farewells to the senior class of 2025. I've mentioned it a couple times this year, but I've been covering high school sports in one capacity or another for about 9 years now. And this is the first senior class that I've covered all the way from freshman year to senior year. And so this class means a lot to me, and I'm just extremely grateful that I had the opportunity to witness their journey, from some of them starting varsity as freshmen to all the way here battling it out in the Final Four in the last moments of their careers. And so while I gave, some heartfelt messages to the seniors on Senior Day, I want to give some of those same heartfelt messages here to Ashley Cherwin, 2-year member of the varsity team. Missed all of last year due to injury, but she took on a team manager role, stayed committed to the team regardless of how much or how little she was able to see the field. Great reflection on her character, and wish her the best. Greta Radke, in and out of the lineup on the wings, another 2-year varsity player. She made the most of her playing time when she could. Finished her career with 2 assists. Wish her the best as well. Nora Shue, 3-year player on varsity, another rotational wing player. Finished her career with 3 assists, including 2 this season. Wish her the best as well. Julia Cherwin, the senior goalie who came within inches of a huge save there, a 2-year senior, 2-year varsity player who made the switch from striker to goalie between her sophomore and junior seasons. Didn't pick up the goalie position until summer before her junior season, and faced such a monumental task taking over on a team that was so used to such high-level goalie play. And she has put on such an incredibly valiant effort, and she's grown to make some great stops in her own right here and there throughout her career. Wish her the best, and thanks for allowing us to witness a great journey. Babette Hall, another 2-year varsity senior, Brookline's center back, again, taking over for in a spot on the roster that Brookline's used to having some pretty talented players in, and she took it over, even as, someone who wasn't on the varsity roster until her junior year. She grew and found a way to make her impact, and this playoff run has included some of the best defensive plays we've seen from her in her whole career. We mentioned some of them earlier in the broadcast. That King Philip game, I would put that down as the best game she's played in her whole career. Hats off to Babette Hall. And then finally, the 4 co-captains. McKenna Hammond, a 3-year varsity player, came in as a sophomore as a rotational striker coming in off the bench. Was able to make some impact as a depth scorer for Brookline. Then as a junior, took on a starting role and grew her game, became so impactful. And then this year, as Brookline switched to a 2-striker formation, the burden on her became even greater and she still continued to step up again and again, finished her career with 20 goals and 7 assists. Hats off to McKenna Hammond. Next to Velena Chernychev, a 4-year varsity player. And what a thrill it's been watching her, the way she has evolved and adapted her game to the team's needs from season to season. A backup midi as a freshman who got starting minutes when one of the senior middies went down with an injury come playoff time that year. Then her sophomore year, stepped up and became a great off-ball cutter as a midi, led the team in regular season goals with 6. Then the next year became more of a distributor, tied for the team lead in assists with 5. And then this year took sort of that backline midi position and allowed herself to just kind of set up for others to evolve and step up along that midfield spot. She finishes her career with 17 goals and 11 assists. Hats off to Velena Chernychev. To Sydney Freeze, who played her first 2 years of her 4-year varsity career along the defensive line, was one of Brookline's top defenders. Taking on a center back position as a freshman is nothing to sneeze at. And after switching from back to striker as a junior, she proved just as impactful on the offensive end as she was on the defensive end. Came through huge in each of the last 2 years, really helped to take Brookline's offense to the next level. And despite only 2 years on offense, she finishes her career with 25 goals and 15 assists, including the last-second equalizer in regulation today. And then finally to Anna Leshley, another 4-year varsity starter like Freeze. You know, when I first started covering this team, I was covering Anna and Sid's older sisters, Hope Leshley and Kendall Freeze. And now being here at the end of the journey, seeing Anna and Sydney getting ready to graduate, or finishing up their soccer careers at least, getting ready to graduate come the springtime, it really just shows how time flies. And really, enough cannot be said about the impact Anna Leshley has had all over the field for Brookline. She's been a stellar defensive back, a stellar midfielder, a stellar striker. She's played all over the field and proved clutch time and time and time again. Enough can't be said. The stats alone could speak for themselves. 33 career goals and 19 career assists for Anna Leshley. I've said it a bunch of times, Dartmouth University is getting one heck of a player next year. And there's a number of colleges that are getting a heck of a player next year. As a number of these players, I think all 4 co-captains are actually going on to the college level next year, if I'm not mistaken. But once again, my deepest thanks, my deepest appreciation to the class of 2025. It was my first journey as a broadcaster, covering a group of players from freshman to senior, and what a journey you guys allowed me to witness. Thank you again, and I wish you all the best. Thanks again to Brookline High Girls Soccer, head coach Ben Peters, athletic director Kyle Williams, all of the parents, everyone who affords me this opportunity year after year. Thank you all. And that's going to do it for this season and for this fall season. Thank you all. The final score here in overtime, Wellesley 2, Brookline 1. From Weymouth High School in Weymouth, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for another great season, and have a good night.